Yo, what's good, people? It's your boy YCEE on my Alaji #1, Tiny Entertainment Mafia. Ain't nobody better than. And right now, you're checking out The Journey with Nayoka. Don't go anywhere, keep it locked. Peace.
Like the Joker going right off the bat. Wanna see me out, there's a writer for that. Me and you up and about, you couldn't sign up for that. They gon' need a scraper just to get your back off the mat. Get pummeled, I move full throttle with trouble that's coming for you if you try to slow my hustle down. Brown, paper.
It tends to mess with you mentally, because I remember very well, it got to a point I almost stopped making music altogether. Yeah, I mean, I'm a human being. I'm a very emotional human being. A lot of people just, that's like, I think that's a video that I still, watch to this day, and I still get chills, and I'm like, man. That's a deep one. I've never.
Hi YC.
Hi y'all.
Welcome to The Journey.
Thanks for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good, cold, but
It's freezing, right?
Yeah.
Is YC an acronym for something? Because I was searching and I couldn't find anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's YC is a name that keeps redefining itself, where every time I just, I'm having a moment and I think about the name. Initially, it was just Y and C without the two E's at the end, which was standing for Young Carter. Carter in turn stands for Crazy Advanced Rapper, terrorizing every rapper.
Nice.
So I think the two E's, it's only recently I started using this from. So YCEE stands for Young Carter over everyone else.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that
just,
a lot.
yeah.
Okay. You're a rapper and a songwriter.
Yeah.
Do you write for any other artists?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say I write for people, because most times I don't even write for myself. I tend to freestyle a lot. But I'm usually in the studio if I'm working. If another artist is in the studio working and I happen to be there, I'll definitely provide some input and just give assistance. So it's not like I'm helping write the song. I don't think I need any credit as a songwriter for somebody else's work. I just assist.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, I'm aware that you were studying to be a marine
biologist.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
You're still doing that?
Yeah.
Wow. How in the world do you balance being a superstar, as I have branded you myself, and a marine biologist? How can you study and perform and tour and all of this?
Well, I mean, it all comes down to time management. When traveling came into the picture, I started, losing a lot of school time, because, you can't be in two places at once. But, I mean, in the last couple of months, I've been able to defer some of my semesters just so I could do what I'm doing now. But I always have it at the back of my mind that it's like I'm counting down to go back to school. So it's something that's always there. It's something that, has to be done. Education is equally as important as whatever talent I might have, because I know it's going to get to a point where I'm not going to be that active a musician as I am now. So it's always good to, have something in your portfolio that helps you, that, puts you in a position to do more than you can do, or more than is expected of you. So, yeah.
So was studying plan A or a plan B for you? Was music your plan B, or is it
I think it's all just part of one very big plan. I don't like to believe in plan A as a plan B. It's just it's all part of a big plan.
Okay. Now, Juice, as we know, or as I know, was branded the hottest song of 2017. No, seriously, it was. How in the world did you and the producer Ade, I believe his name is, come up with the song? Were you sitting in the studio for hours? Did something just click and you just started singing? It just came to you?
The funny thing was, there are 3 different songs that were recorded on that beat by myself, because I had the beat in my possession for a while. It was for months, until one day we just thought, let's work on this beat. It's a nice beat. And I remember doing the first song, and everyone at the point was thinking this should be better. Tiny definitely, Tiny is to a certain extent a perfectionist, because I think that most of my songs that I release always have alternate versions, because we're always trying to pick out, okay, which is the best version to put out. So Juice, there are 2 other songs aside from Juice that were on that same beat, and by the time we recorded Juice, we were like, okay, this is this is it. And the funny thing was, when I recorded the part of saying too much juice, too much sauce, listening back, at first listen, I was like, this sounds out of place, I don't know, there's something about it. But by the time I listened to it the third time, I was like, okay,
this is it.
It might be it.
Right?
Yeah, I had a feeling, but I didn't expect it to become as big as it did, because these days you never know what's going to interest the fans. You never know what the consumers of music are gonna gravitate towards. So when the song came out and it started getting the feedback it was getting, I was like, okay, wow, we have another banger. So yeah.
I love the song. Let me just put that out there. I play it a lot on the radio station. One time I played it like in rotation a few times, got in trouble, but hey, when you like a song, you like a song.
Yeah.
So in October 2016, you signed a record deal with Sony, right?
Yeah.
I know that there are a number of different record deals, like I believe there's a 360 one, there's a branding one, there are different types of deals.
Yeah.
Can you say which type of deal you signed?
At the time I signed a distribution deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever sign a 360 one? Because I believe they have complete control of your music,
Yeah,
branding,
no.
everything. Like,
Nah, I
they can
can't.
change anything they want about you, no matter how much money was thrown in front of you.
You really can't put a price on my creativity. That's just how I see it. Because I think I make music in a way that's unique to me. So if I have somebody else trying to come in, in between that process and try to tell me, how to do it, won't work out. And nah.
Just doesn't work for you. Right?
Nah,
I'm really glad to hear that. Man,
yeah.
I mean,
I think every artist, there are a lot of artists out there that feel like there's a price tag to what they create artistically. But I mean, if you really look at it, it's something it's abstract in quality, and you really can't put a price on it because you never know what you might find yourself wanting to do the next day.
when you don't have the
Yeah,
flexibility to
exactly.
do that,
So
right?
no.
It's kind of like selling your soul. The use of the N word. You know the N word, right?
Can I say?
Yeah, feel free. I
Yeah.
want to say. Yeah. Feel free. Express yourself.
Yeah, the N word.
Yeah, the use of the N-word. Now, the term is used quite loosely by
Yeah.
Afro-Caribbeans in particular, right? Now, a lot of artists use the N-word in their music. Yeah, I was about to point that out. You use the term a couple of times, and we use it, or they use it as a term of endearment, right?
Yeah.
We know what it's linked to.
Yeah.
I realize that other races don't use any words that were used to offend maybe their ancestors.
Yeah.
Afro-Caribbeans are the only ones. Do you see something wrong when, say, for example, a Caucasian person or an Asian person is rapping along to your lyrics and they say the word? Do you think there's anything wrong with it?
I've never been in a position, to witness any of that. But if I would be in that position, I think, I fully thinking about it, I understand, why most black people feel like nobody else should say the word. Because take for example, it's like somebody giving you a nickname that initially you might not like, but just to the power that nickname to take away the power it has, you might find yourself calling yourself that name. So I think with the term as opposed to saying name, I feel like it's a way that most black people at the time they started using it as a term of endearment. It was a way of them to depower the way white people or the oppressors at the time used to use the name. It's the same thing that could go for, say, okay, you see black people wearing chains and someone's like, oh, your ancestors were slaves and they wore chains, but I mean, I'm wearing a gold chain to just depict that I was able to break out of that struggle. And the chains to me, they mean to me what I make it. It means what I make it. And I know to a certain extent I shouldn't, most people might feel like I don't have I shouldn't speak on this because I haven't been in a racist situation, because I mean, living in Africa or living in Nigeria is quite rare. Most times I even don't know what I would do if a white person called me, because I wouldn't, I feel we should understand that most times when they say this, they're expecting a reaction.
Definitely.
So when you give that reaction, it's pretty much giving into, what they were trying to do. So if a white person called me, I'll just be like, yeah, whatever. I'm a black king. So it's our thing. It's the way we've grown to. It's the mechanism we've grown to deal with that situation. That's not saying it for a white person, because I get knocked out. But, yeah.
I'll probably be the one knocking them out. Would you say that you are well known, popular, or a celebrity?
I say I'm all three of these things. Because I mean, my career has. Most people think I just started making music in 2015, but I've been making music as far back as 2012. So I can actively tell you the difference between an upcoming artist, an underground artist, and a popular artist or an A-list artist or artist that has gotten to a level of renowned popularity. So I mean, for me, I feel like I'm a celebrity very much in my own right. I'm a superstar and all that.
That's exactly why I called you one.
Yeah.
What has been the highlight of your career so far?
There's been a bunch. Highlight of my career.
Best one that you go to bed at night and think about and smile, or it makes you well up and feel emotional if you ever do feel emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a human being. I'm a very emotional human being. A lot of people everyone is emotional. Like, as long as you have emotions, even if you don't show your emotions, that is not showing emotions is an emotion in its own right. So we're all emotional human beings. I would say the highlight of my career, it's a performance I had in 2015. It was the One Lagos Fiesta, and I think that was the very first stadium show I'd ever performed at. I really didn't know what to expect. I go on stage that day, and I remember I was about to perform Jagaban, and I did a little a cappella before the performance, and the whole stadium, everyone was singing along. And that's like, I think that's a video that I still watch to this day, and I still get chills, and I'm like, man, we've really come a long way.
It's a good feeling, right?
Very good feeling.
Amazing. What has been the biggest challenge you've faced in your career so far?
I think the biggest challenge was just trying to break from underground and upcoming level to the level after that, because that's the point that really defines what you do next as a musician or what you do next as a creative. Because I mean, you're in the studio 24/7, you're putting in all this work, you're trying so hard to be the next big thing, you're making videos, you're acting like a celebrity even though you might not be one yet, and it tends to mess with you mentally. Because I remember very well, it got to a point I almost stopped making music altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was this a long time ago?
I would say this was in 2014.
What happened? What triggered that?
I mean, we've been putting out music for so long. We've been putting out music videos, doing so much, and it got to a point where I was like, man, the label is putting so much funds behind what I'm doing, and there's not that much coming back in. So I was like, I think it's best if we just try and cut our losses and just focus on something else. But I mean, thank God for someone like Tiny, who was able to still believe in me to the point, like, at that point I had like very little belief in myself. So from the belief he had in me, I was able to draw enough inspiration and keep pushing. And the following year, that's when everything pretty much changed.
See that? It's usually at the breaking point, like when you're just about to give up, that's when something
very true. Very true.
It is very, very true. Give me the song title, the name of a song that sums up your life.
That's a deep one. I've never actually given that much thought, because I feel like I haven't even come that far. That's the mentality I always try to keep, because I know that it's a lifelong journey, and to always be on my toes. I know that there's so little that I've done and still so much I'm yet to achieve. So I would say Drake, Forever, featuring Kanye West, Eminem, and Lil Wayne. Yeah, Forever. Yeah.
That's good. If you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing about the music, man.
In general.
One thing. I would say the one thing I would change is, the channel of music. When I say channel of music, it's pretty much how music gets to the listeners, because a lot of people, that's why these days you find it very, very rare that there's that many new artists on the scene, because most fans are just comfortable listening to the artists that they're familiar with. No one is really going out of their way to like seek new music and be like, okay, there's Wizkid, there's Davido, there's Olamide, there's YCEE, there's Easy, who's that new guy? So I think actually creating a channel where, okay, if you want to check out new music, you can actually come here and actually find not just new music, but actually new guys that are doing stuff that should be recognized. So I think that's one very, very important thing that's needed right now.
I like that. Do you have a celebrity crush? Let me just slide that.
Genevieve Nnaji.
She's gorgeous, isn't
she? Yeah, she doesn't age.
She doesn't?
Yeah. I can say so many things. Like, let's not even start talking about Genevieve right now because we might be here till next week.
She's beautiful though.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. If you could be a fly on the wall in the house of any celebrity, who would you choose?
Okay, good thing you said that.
I knew you were going to choose that.
Fly on the wall in the house of any celebrity, I would say Drake. Drake makes music in a way that is so relatable to people that may not have lived in that environment. So I would want to see what he does in his day-to-day life, because I feel like as creatives, it's not what you do in the studio, it's what you do outside the studio that influences what happens in there. So I'd like to see, what he does on the day-to-day, what's his routine like, to be able to understand, okay, this is where he's getting it right. Yeah, this is where, exactly.
If you were president, what would be the first law you would implement in Nigeria? Let's start with Nigeria, because since that's where you're from, you know what's happening there.
Legalize it.
Legalize
it.
That would be your first law. That would be it.
I'm kidding. The funny thing is, I couldn't see myself in a position of power to make certain decisions. I would like to believe that I'll be in a position to, ignite the mind that makes changes. But me being in that position. Well, the very first thing I'll try to tackle is infrastructure in the sense of electricity and internet, because I think that these are two major things that would empower young people a lot. And with young people feeling empowered, I think that's the major thing that's going to bring about change in any community or any society.
Very true.
Yeah, and then we would legalize it.
Okay, let's slip that in. And lastly, what would make you a legend?
What would make me a legend? I feel like I'm already a legend.
Let's just end it there then.
Yeah, because looking back from where I came from, like, trust me, man, 2014, if you told me where I would be in 2015, I wouldn't have believed it. So me being able to go through that process and come out of my shell and be who I am despite myself. When I say despite myself, it's because I feel like I was the only person holding me back that period. So me being able to go through that, in my books, I'm already legendary. I've already achieved legendary feats. So I would say what would make the rest of the world see me as a legend would be me making music that stands the test of time. Years later, people are gonna study YCEE's music and be like, during this time period, YCEE really, really owned the game. And I think that's what I'm striving towards. Yeah.
Love that. Timeless. Juice is a timeless song. Yeah. I think it will be around forever.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's just me and all of your fans, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time this evening. I greatly appreciate it. And to show our appreciation, we got you a little gift.
Oh, really?
It's a New Year's gift. We missed Christmas. So this is for you.
Can I
celebrate? Yeah, pull it out.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if you're a wine drinker, but that's for you to celebrate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best in the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Entertainment, baby.
Tiny. YCEE.
Body on this one, oh.
Ain't nobody but that. I don't wanna wait for nobody. I just wanna dance with you, mommy.